I'm Rebecca Campbell. Thank you so much for returning with me. I'm going to share my favorite thing that has changed my life the most, actually. It's so simple. It has the potential to change your life in general, deepen your relationships, and I think also just amidst everything that is happening in the world like right now, it is a really simple thing that you can do to deeply connect to the hearts of others. So the biggest thing that I have done that has changed my life the most, it's something that I learned in my early 20s, and that is seeing the soul of who's in front of you, the light behind the eyes, the essence of the person there. You know, it wasn't until my really good friend Blair passed away. He passed away really suddenly. I got the phone call when I was in London and got on a plane immediately. And when I was flying over the Middle East, I felt his presence physically on my body, and I just knew he was gone. And so by the time I landed in Singapore, I got the news, but I already knew, and then landed in Sydney and we organized the funeral. And within a day or so, I went to the morgue to see his body. And by that stage, I'd studied the journey of the soul, the mystic arts, all of that for many years. And I was adamant that the soul lives on. And yet walking into that room and seeing his body after his soul had left, I could not believe how he literally, no part of him that made him him was there. It was just so clear that soul had left. His essence, his personality, his life force was just gone. And I mean that in like just any part of him that animated him was gone. I didn't even recognize the body in front of me, this body that I loved so much. I remember touching his face and holding his hand and just being like almost in laughter at how extreme it was that he was not there. And from that day on, it really was such a wake-up call for me to always try and remember to acknowledge the soul, the essence, the life force in the person in front of me. Now, I don't always do this. Sometimes I am, going through the motions or whatever. But I do find anytime I have a difficulty with someone, like if I'm kind of clashing with someone, it's probably because I'm not seeing who's actually there in front of me. And the simple act of taking a breath and just being willing to tune into the essence or see the light, see the essence, see the depth, see the soul of that person in front of me, and the courage that it takes to be here, especially now, completely has changed my relationships. And it's also a great thing to do just with strangers, whether it's like the person serving you coffee or checking you in to a flight that you're late for. The simple act of seeing the soul of the person who is there in front of you will completely change your life. I think the same thing goes, like, I try and do it as much as I can. And again, I'm human. I don't always do it, but I try and remember to do it with my kids. I remember watching an Oprah episode many years ago. I just moved to London. I was in my 20s, and my friend Jackie Collick and I we'd watch. We had this 25th anniversary box set of the Oprah Winfrey Show, which we would just binge watch every time we were hungover, which was a lot in those days. And we lived in this really tiny, like, ghetto apartment in Stockwell in London, which Stockwell now is like, I don't know, it's a lot nicer than it was then. Like, we'd have like chicken bones on our at our front door from people who were eating chicken bones and throwing them on the ground. Like, it was really not nice where we lived, but it was what we could afford, and we were happy like to be on the other side of the world on this great adventure, following our dreams in London. Both of us, we met at university. Anyway, we would watch this one episode, a few of them over and over again, but the one that we would watch over and over again, I think this was our favorite. I can't remember who Oprah was talking to, but essentially they said, do your eyes light up when you see someone enter a room? Because it's the greatest gift that you can give. And I think this is where the first seed was planted within me, around seeing the soul of the person who is there. Because you should really try it. If your eyes, like as your child walks in, if you have a child, as your mother, as your friend, as your colleague or whatever, let your eyes light up. Notice what happens to the person that you're allowing yourself to properly see. Seeing beyond just the physical exterior, beyond the life experiences, beyond the personality even. Can you see the light behind their eyes? And can you light up in recognizing them? Because if you recognize the light in them, and there's light within all beings, I really, really believe that. If you look for that, if you see that, you'll be lit up yourself as well. And it is just so healing to be witnessed in that way, particularly now when we're bombarded with so much grief, so much devastation all over the world. Can you see the light behind the eyes of the person in front of you, especially if you're in conflict? I'll often, if I'm having a difficult time with someone in a relationship and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get through, like we're both in defense here, I'll often connect in with their soul, connect in with that part of them, the unconditional part of them, and have a conversation with them from the essence of within me as well. So that's another thing you can do. But yeah, this is my number one secret for being in a relationship. Can you see the soul of the person who is in front of you, beyond the body, beyond the personality, beyond the life experience, even beyond your connection? Can you see the light behind their eyes? So I want you to give it a go. Let me know how it goes. Maybe this is something that you do already. Maybe you're like me, where it's something you do already, but it's always good to get a reminder of it. Thank you so much for being with me today. If you've liked this episode, then hit subscribe or share it with a friend. And I talk about these type of concepts as well. It's actually a chapter in my new book, Your Soul Had a Dream, Your Life Is It. So you can check that out. Head to rebeccacampbell.me/Your Soul Had a Dream. I'll be doing a free event as well for everyone who pre-orders. If you head to rebeccacampbell.me/dream, you can claim your free event ticket as well. Thank you so much for being here with me. Today's soul inquiry is, how can you see the soul of someone in your life today? How can you see the soul of someone in your life today? It's more like a dare or an action, this one.